Hello, it's Diane again. I'm back with the next step in my Bobbsey Twins journals. I wanted to show you the completed pocket. You saw me do this one, that little tag in there. And then whoops. Now, the way my camera is set up here by my sewing machine, I know I am going to bump it, and I just did. So here's this one. So I sewed the image on with a zigzag stitch. So there is stitching on the back, but you can write around it. And the third one is another envelope. And I found this image in a children's book of a little boy feeding the rabbits. So of course I had to use that. And there was, right next to him, there was a little girl feeding the ducks. And I just put in my long skinny tags that I cut with my Cricut. I was thinking about putting some of these in my shop. Let me know if you'd be interested in purchasing these. I love using these for a narrow tuck spot or pocket. So just let me know. So now I'm going to do some sewing, and I think I have everything gathered here that I need. Except for the page that I was... I don't know what I did with that page. Okay, so I'm going to start by replicating this. So I have a couple pieces of the feed sack fabric that I got from the Etsy shop, Fabric Thread Needle, and there's a piece of eyelash trim and an image from Mrs. Cogs. So I'm going to gather those images. I already cut my Mrs. Cogs images, so I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use it on this page. And now, slide my machine out of the way for a moment. I've got my little box of feed sack fabrics. Now, this on top, all of this, is something I received from Jennifer, and these are just scraps. So she sent them to me to thank me for sending people her way, because a lot of you went and shopped at her shop, and I thank you so much for that. Supporting another Etsy seller, and it means a lot to me that you did that. And I love these feed sack fabrics. There's something about the texture and these retro images that just, I don't know, I just love them. So these are what she sent me as a thank you, and I just love it because it's so easy to just take a little piece and take what I want instead of wanting to cut something off of the bigger pieces, which I will do. That's what I have them. I'm going to do that, but it's easier to take them off with these. So that's what I was using in Gail's book. What I had purchased from Jennifer was pretty much all florals, I think. And so this time I asked her to look for some geometrics and things like that, checks and plaid. So there are florals, which are always my favorites. But I like this. This is interesting. And I like the colors with that. So I think I'll use a little piece of that. So I wanted something a little different too, not all florals. And I think what she sent me is just wonderful. So I just need something else that will go well with these. I think I'll use that. And what kind of eyelash? Maybe I'll just use the brown. There's a lot of color in this. So I'll just use a piece of brown. Alright, my battery is flashing. I think my battery's getting old. They're rechargeables, but they don't last long after I charge them. So I'm going to I need a strip of this. I'll just take it off of here. Don't need a big piece, just a little strip. So I just snip it a little and tear. They tear very easily. And then you make sure you get a true straight line when you do that. I went to tear one yesterday, and that's when I realized that it was cut on the bias because it didn't tear where I thought it would. Let's see where this one's cut. That one's good. And I even like these irregular shapes. You'll see where I use them. Get it just the right size. Now I'll arrange it the way I want it. That doesn't show up really well against it, but it shows up a little bit. Maybe this will help. Just tuck this in behind the picture. Maybe I should find a different print that will show up more. Maybe a contrasting color. Kind of hard with all the colors in that. Maybe that would be better. This is one of my larger pieces that I bought from Jennifer. And by the way, that deal is still good through the end of May. If you go, I will link her shop below. If you go to her shop and spend $25, I think, you get 15% off your order. So I told her that if she sold packages of those scraps like she sent me, that people would probably buy them. So I think, can't say for sure, but I think she's going to work on putting together some scraps, which I know I like because you get a big variety of pieces, and we don't need big pieces for the way we use fabric pieces. There, I like that better. It shows up better. So I like having a variety of small pieces, and you don't have to spend so much to get a variety. And I do like having the larger pieces too. So it's good that she does both. Hopefully she'll do both. So I'll move my machine over so hopefully you can see. I just have my pieces arranged. Now this wasn't cut exactly on the grain of fabric, so it might be a little bit, I think it's narrower down here than up there, but I don't care. In fact, I like it. So I have it on zigzag. This is my new sewing machine, which I absolutely love. And it was on a really good sale the day I went looking for a machine. I hated to have to buy one. I wanted to upgrade anyway, but I didn't want to do it this soon, but I had to. I still want to get my old one fixed so I have a backup, but there's nobody around here that fixes them. I have to find out how far I have to go to get it fixed. Some of the Joanns send them out to get fixed, but the one near me doesn't. So there's one about an hour away that I'll have to find out if they do it. I'm still getting used to it. I used to have to lift my lever over here. Now it's on this side. Okay, so that's done. I can just put this on, put the picture on, and sew them both at the same time. Now this will have a lot of stitching on the other side of the paper. I don't mind that, and I don't think my customers do, because a lot of my customers are repeat customers, so they must not mind. that's done. Now on this side, so you can see there's lots of stitching there, but it makes it kind of fun for journaling about different things. You could maybe write the weather on one of the squares and what you had to eat that day or whatever. Just make it fun. I cut the threads on the side that doesn't have the image, but I leave the threads. I don't know if you could even tell because of all that eyelash. So on this side, I had some vintage wallpaper that I used my 2-inch circle punch on to punch circles. So I'm just going to sew one of them down. And then I had a little vintage gift tag or sticker over here, but I will glue that on after I get back over to my other station. So right now I'm just going to stitch this on, and I'll use the straight stitch. And I'll just put a cute little playing card or something in there. I'll attach a vintage gift card to that gift tag later. And on this side, on the back of that, which would be the back of the signature, I used a vertical, larger picture, a portrait. And I had to print 2 more pages so I would have enough of the vertical ones to do the 2 books. So I have, sorry, I knew I would bump it. I think I've been doing pretty good. So I have this here, and then I sewed a piece of like a gimp or braid trim, and I think I'll use this one and not cut my hand. These images are all Jessie Wilcox Smith. These little darlings. And they're just beautiful. A lot of them were on old Good Housekeeping covers. Like Norman Rockwell did a lot of Saturday Evening Post. Jessie Wilcox Smith did a lot of Good Housekeeping. Foot wants to push the braid out of the way, so you have to lift the, sorry, I'm not in there. You have to lift the foot up and make sure the braid goes under. Just pushed it out again. Okay, now I'm going to switch to zigzag. And inside that pocket, I hope I brought it over with me. I left it over here. I put an index card. Just have to trim it a little bit. And I put a little fabric tab on it. I think I'll use a piece of the feed sack fabric. It's cute. It's got a little pinked edge. I would like pinking shears, but they're very expensive. I'll have to look at Joann's maybe with a coupon. So I just fold it in half. I'm going to do a stitch up here, just a straight stitch. Sometimes I do 2 rows of straight stitch up there, but this time I'm just doing 1, and I will, if I can get it out. This customer, Beatrice, does not want coffee staining. She does like coffee staining, and she likes the crackly sound it makes, the paper, but she doesn't want the acid in her books. So when I make a book for her, whoops, I went too far. There is no coffee staining. Maybe I'll try coffee dyeing with baking soda in it to neutralize the acid. I haven't tried that. So there's the simple little card that goes inside there. So this page is done except for adding a tag here and something in the pocket. The next page if I can find it. Well, I'll move on to the next signature and do that page, I guess. So I don't know where I put that page. It's just a plain page. In the other book, it's a coffee dyed page, but I used some colored copy paper in here since she doesn't want coffee dyeing. And this is what I did. I added this strip of brown paper with hearts stitched to it. If my video cuts out, it's just because the battery ran out. So I have a bunch of these made, and I will just make another one to show you how I did it. Sometimes I just go through little bits of scraps of paper that I have and use my heart punch and just punch out little hearts. And then I take my brown paper. And by the way, Jill Robertson is the one that I saw doing these. She sent me some actually in a swap or a Happy Mail or something, and I loved them. So when I was able to get some of this brown paper from Lori Jagadish at the Everyday Journal on Etsy, then I started making my own. So I cut this into a 1-inch strip, and I just cut it on the short side. You could cut it on either side, but I do the short one. And then I take my little hearts that I punch and put it on straight stitch. Just put the strip of paper under the foot, and I put a little heart right there on it and set the foot down and start sewing. And you don't have to back stitch because you're going to cut the pieces anyway. So then I just put a few hearts in my hand, and I try not to put the same colors right next to each other. And I just feed a heart, get into that heart, and then put the next one down. Once you get into the rhythm of it, it's not bad. It goes pretty quickly. I'm at an awkward angle now because of my camera. I try to go down the center of the heart, but sometimes it goes off, and I don't really care. I think most of these are not being centered. I feel off kilter here. And if you don't want to fuss with these, but you like them, I would be happy to put some of these in my shop too. Maybe. I just have so many projects to do. But see, it's pretty easy and pretty quick. So what I'll do is just take a strip and sew it. So I'll just cut off the last heart on this one. Don't want to use my fabric scissors for cutting paper. We're still going. Battery's still flashing, but we're still going. And I'm bumping the camera. I think I'm going to have to move something. The next time I want to sew while I video so that the camera's at a better angle for me. I just have so much stuff. My room is so crammed. that there's very little space to maneuver. Do you ever like reorganize and find a new place to put things, and then the next time you want to use it, you don't remember where you put it? That's where I am. I'm looking for something that I can't find. I have my vintage wallpaper, but I had already purchased some from Kalina Bean on Etsy, and it's, you know, just a package of small pieces of wallpaper, and I don't know where I put it now. I think that was all I was going to do in this session, so I'll be back with something else after I charge my battery.